And be sure and mute yourselves because I still hear people. Hi, everybody. I just want to say that Bright Sunny Day is our mystery knit along that just started yesterday. This is this wonderful smelling. There's thyme and roses, and my sweetie just picked this for me and brought this to me. So I wish you could all smell it, but at the very least you can enjoy the look of it. It's so lovely. And that's kind of the theme. I just wanted to host a mystery knit along that's lighthearted and fun. And we can all certainly use that right now and an opportunity to come together and see each other, say hello on Zoom, which I'm just getting up to speed on. So hi, everybody. And you might have noticed that there was an update to the pattern today. If you haven't checked on your Ravelry pattern library, please do so at your soonest convenience. I've written out all the instructions line by line completely. And I don't know if Beth is on here, my tech editor. Beth, where are you? Anyway, thanks to Beth, it all got done last night and the pattern went out again today. So a lot of people have thanked me already for that. So you're welcome. Has everybody gotten a chance to get their pattern? I hope you have. So I am shortly, well, first of all, let me just say that a little bit later on in the call, we're going to have a giveaway. And Michelle, I may call on you for help in figuring out who the winner is. Because like I said, I'm still getting up to speed on this, and there's quite a few people on the call. There's 75 people. So I thought for a giveaway, since it's shawl knitting season, it's summer, and I have so many shawls out there that it might be nice to give a bundle to a lucky winner. So they get to pick 5 of their favorites and get them gifted to them. So we'll do that a little bit later on. So is everybody happily knitting? I certainly hope so. I know I am. So I'm going to flip over to my other camera and give you a little demo. There's some interesting things about the pattern from the get-go. It's going to get more interesting, I promise. It really will. There's some twists and turns. But for now, there's slip stitches on both edges. There's one edge that gets increased and has a little trick to give you extra elasticity on that edge. And there's also a float that gets picked up and knit on the following right side row. And I've gotten a ton of questions about the float. So I figured out 2 ways, and one way was actually figured out by Beth, my tech editor. So lovely, Beth, thank you. And the other way is the way that I normally do it. So I'm going to show you both ways. So let me flip over here. First, I need to find me. Okay. And you get to look at my studio. Such as it is. Okay. Now, I am going to spotlight that video for you. Does everybody see there's a little bit of knitting and the pattern chart right here. So let's see how that's going to go. Okay, so here is my little setup. Okay, I've just done 2 rows of the first chart. So you can see that I've got a little stitch marker in place, and I'll tell you why that is in just a minute. So for now, do you see that I've set up the slip stitch edge? Okay, so that I've stopped knitting 2 stitches from the edge, and it's just like a little mini I-cord. So every time you start a row, whether it's right side or wrong side, you're going to bring that yarn around and just start knitting. Hello, there you are. And once you do that for a while, you'll see this lovely edge forming. Okay, so the right side rows are super easy. They're just knit across until you get to 3 stitches from the edge. And then you're going to do your increase, whether it's a double increase or a single or a double increase. And let me just show you the double one. So I think most of us really know the knit in front and the back. Okay, so that's results in 2 stitches out of 1. Not so common is the knit front and then back and then front again. So you see how I'm just manipulating my needle back to the front, pulling yarn through. It's not complicated to do, but it's a little bit fiddly. And you see how much that takes. So they're sort of extending out from the original stitch. And that's another reason that it's good to do that extra yarn over, so it's just for nothing. And then every time you end a right side row, you're going to bring the yarn over yarn to the front and slip the last 2 stitches purlwise with the yarn in front. Not very intuitive, it's kind of strange. But again, after a few rows, you're going to see that it makes this beautiful line. And here again, starts the same way. This is a wrong side row, and the wrong side rows are like this. Whoop. So you see there's that extra yarn over. I'm just going to drop it right off. So there, that's what's going to give you that beautiful elastic edge. And here I see I'm purling a couple, then I'm knitting. Yarn to the front before you slip those 2 stitches purlwise. So that's a right side and a wrong side row. I'm just going to pop back over here and see if there are any questions in the chat box. Are you getting an echo?
Yep.
Any questions so far? A few more people joined.
Sylvia, are you going to go to chart 2 today? I have a question about that, I believe.
I won't be actually knitting from the chart 2. Let me just show you that here. So this is chart 2. A little bit closer up. It has the same stitch pattern. Let me just go ahead and put myself back on there again. Okay, here I am. So it's the same stitch pattern that you're establishing in the setup chart. It's exactly the same.
That's what I thought. And on page 4 of the pattern, when you originally sent it out, so you've got the chart and then a colored picture of the yarn that you've knit up.
Right.
I see those long floats, and I don't think I'm getting those long floats.
Okay.
And I was concerned about that.
Great question. Several people have questions about the long floats. I am very sorry about the echo. I'm not sure what to do about that. I don't know. Something to be tested again. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry if this is bothering anybody. Okay, let me flip back to my knitting if there's no more questions, except I see a float question again. I'm gonna go back to that. Okay, so here I am back on the, okay. So here I am back on the right side row. I know it's a right side row because my stitch marker is there. And believe me, that's going to be a nice reminder. Okay, so I'm not actually going to follow the pattern per se. I'm just going to show you what it's like to do the float and then pick up the float. So normally I would have to have a little bit more knitting on here to do that, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you. So to set up the float, you're going to just slip 5 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually just going to slip 4 because that's all I have to slip. And you see how your yarn is in the front. And then after you've slipped all your stitches, you're going to return your yarn to the back and do whatever comes next. So in this case, I'm actually going to do an increase. And then as always, my yarn over, bring the yarn to the front, slip the last 2 stitches, purlwise with yarn in front.
So Sylvia,
Yeah.
Michelle, and Leona has a question. She says she thinks she's been twisting her first 2 knits on the wrong side row. Will this make a difference if she's consistent?
The first 2 knits.
First 2 knits on the wrong side row.
Oh, you mean the first 2 stitches? First 2 stitches? I'm sorry, I'm not quite following.
Maybe she can ask that question.
Yeah, so I would love it if you, okay, so here's the end of the row, yarn to the front, slip the 2 stitches. So here we are in the next right side row. This isn't exactly the situation that you're going to see in your pattern, but I want to show you how the floats are done. Okay, so you see clearly, I'm getting camera here. Do you see that float in front? Okay, now you're going to have 5 stitches that are slipped, so you're going to have a center stitch. Your center stitch is the one that's going to be knit together with the float. So here's what I do. I'm just going to slip that stitch over for a minute, pick up the float, transfer those stitches back, and then knit them together. And you see that really anchors that float in. And now you can see that little V shape. Now, my brilliant tech editor told me another way, and here's her way. Simply knit that stitch, and then you're just going to pick up the float and proceed. So it isn't anchored quite the same way in your knitting, but it works fine. And I think it actually anchors in on the next wrong side row when you purl or knit that stitch. So do you kind of see how that goes? So there it is, just having been slipped over the knit stitch. Definitely easier to do it that way. Okay, I'm going to come back on. Yeah. There I am. Okay, so there's some advice about the echo. Yeah, my phone is actually completely muted. There is no sound on it, so I really am mystified, and I've tested dozens of times, so I am sorry, but I am going to figure that out by the next time we meet. So
someone said that the reason there was an echo was that one of the participants does not have a mute. And it looks like Nancy is not muted.
could Nancy mute, please? That's better. Thank you. That was easy. Okay. Okay, so somebody said, show the next row so you can see what you do with the floating stitch. So it really just sits there until you knit it. So if you want to see it, I will show you. Let's see. Back to the knitting. Okay. So here we go. That was after the right side row. You know that the stitch marker is over on the right. It's a right side row. And that's with the that floating stitch just sort of slipped over. Now the next row is a wrong side row. So here we are knitting the first 2 stitches. That's the slipped edge. And I'm just going to purl across for ease in doing this for you. Of course, you're going to be completing it in pattern. Okay, so here, do you see from the wrong side what that looks like? So I'm just going to make sure and catch it while I'm purling 2 together. And I'll show you. Okay, there's the last 2 slip stitches coming around to the right side again. And I hope you can see that that just makes that V. It actually looks exactly the same as my piece does, done my way. So wrong side again, it just looks like there have been 2 stitches purled together. And on the right side, it's the V that you want. Does that help?
A quick question. If you pick up the float and knit it together with the stitch that's on there,
Mm-hmm.
is that the same as just picking it up and then purling it back? I mean, mine looks okay.
So tell me how you did yours.
Well, when I came to the float, I put my left-hand needle into the float and then, you know, into the stitch and then knit them together.
So you knit them together through the back loop.
No, through the front loop.
Through the front loop. It sounds fine. I think there's probably lots of ways to skin this cat. Oh, I'm hating that. Ugh, I'm sorry I said that.
Oh, sorry.
But you kind of get
Okay, but it looks like yours, so
I'd say
fine.
it's fine. I've just kind of invented this, so I say that it's fine. And really any way that you can get those 2 stitches together and it looks knit on the front and purled on the back, and somehow that float is being anchored along with the center of the 5 stitches, I think you're fine.
Okay.
Sylvia, that's how I do mine. It's under the float and it worked great.
Okay,
And into
because you're a
the
fast
stitch.
knitter and you're going to do it the quickest way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so someone said if you do it through the front loop, it twists the float. You shouldn't see the float twisted. So
You want it twisted?
no,
No, okay.
you just want it flat.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Somebody said, how do you know you float over the stitches? So if you have any doubt at all about what you're seeing in the chart, you're going to see 5 vertical lines, and each vertical line means a stitch is slipped with the yarn floating in front. So you're slipping the stitches purlwise with yarn in front, and you do it 5 times. So the yarn floats over all 5 stitches. And in the new version that I just issued this morning, you will see it all written out. So somebody had a really good question about that in the forum yesterday, and I went, oh, I really need to write this all out just to make sure there's no doubt what's going on here. And yes, you might have at Abby, you might have found a slight error. Thank you. Okay. So I think people are finding, I'm getting comments that people are finding their own way to sort of get around the float thing, and and it probably, what's going to be helpful to you is something that agrees with your knitting style. And of course, everybody has a different knitting style. So feel free to message me privately if none of this has made any sense at all to you. Okay, Just checking the chat. Where can you find the recording? So after we're done today, I actually did a little research and I found out I was going to upload it to YouTube, but then there's a problem of password protecting it. So I've discovered that Vimeo is really the way to go, how to password protect a video. So I'm going to be doing that, and then I will issue a little update again with the password to let you access the video. Does that help? Someone said, late joiner, does gauge matter, assuming I have or can get extra yarn if I run out? Very good question. So I have pushed the limit a little bit with this pattern, and thank goodness for the generous skeins of Yarn Less Traveled 757 sock. Oh my gosh, 463 yards per skein. But my sample knitter did have a skein with lesser yardage, so we kind of use that as a way to judge. And I think you'll be okay if you have a skein with at least 400 yards. If you have less than 400 yards, it depends on your knitting style. If you're a loose knitter, you might be a little bit out of luck. Okay. And then somebody had a question about beads. Beads in capital letters, yes. Yes, so they're only used at the very end. So they'll be in clue number 4. So you have plenty of time to think about it and to source your beads. And also, you're only going to use beads on your yarn B. So whatever you have for your yarn B, that's what you'll be matching up with beads. And it's so much easier. If you've chosen a tonal solid or a shaded solid yarn to use as your yarn B, you're going to be a lot happier choosing beads to go with it, because it's really hard to pick beads that will go with a variegated yarn, especially a super variegated yarn. Really, really hard to do that. So you're welcome. Wanted to make this fun. And yes, there are just 4 clues, 4 weeks, 4 clues, short and sweet. Okay, are we good so far? Do I recommend a contrasting bead color to yarn B, or can they match? Oh, good question. Okay, I have like entire workshops about how to choose a bead. So this is like extremely shortened. But basically your eye visually cancels out colors that are the same. And that's why, in case any of you have wondered, if you play it safe and you pick a beautiful, beautiful bead, that it matches the color, even if it's not exactly matching, it's kind of matching, and your eye cancels them, so you don't see it very well. Now, if it's a different texture, like a metallic bead, but it's the same color, that's a different story. But if it's, so your choice, you get to play it safe, or you get to be adventurous, express yourself. I've done it all kinds of ways, and each way was exactly appropriate to that moment in time. So don't doubt yourself. You'll make the right choice. Next question. Which yarn uses more yardage? I'm going to say yarn B used a little bit more yardage, but yarn A got pretty close. So if you're trying to figure out, if you have a little bit more yardage on one, which one you're going to make it yarn B, I guess, but they're going to be super close. These questions are wonderful. Let's see. Okay, getting adventurous with color. I love to hear it. Do it. Just do it. This is, yeah.
Another quick question. My yarn is variegated, and some of the floats don't show up as well as other floats because the float seems to be maybe the same color as the stitches underneath. Does that really matter? I mean, it's kind of like yours seem
No.
like you can really see
No,
every
no,
single
no,
float.
don't micromanage your variegated yarn. Just let it flow. It'll
Okay.
have an overall effect. Please don't worry about every float. There could be floats that don't show as well as other floats, but it'll have a really cool overall effect, and that's what you're going for. As you get farther on, you'll see. You know, after I think you have to repeat chart 2 13 times.
Well,
So
13
by
times,
then
okay.
you'll have a much wider
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, canvas.
It does look different than the first 10 rows, you know. Okay, thank you.
Of course. Okay. Oh, Donna, do you want me to show the first clue? That's so good of you. Yes, please. Do you have one that's just the first clue? I'm gonna try to find you. Let's see, where are you, Donna? I'm gonna highlight you for a minute here.
Here.
There you are.
I can show part of the first clue with a multicolored, so.
Oh, very
you can see the
good.
floats.
So that's lovely. Kind of get the idea.
So I have a partial first clue,
Who is that?
Margaret,
Okay, Margaret.
and it's not showing up.
Okay, I hope I got the right Margaret. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, look how beautiful that is in a solid color. Thank you. I've never actually seen that before. That's gorgeous. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take the spotlight back if I can. Come on. Zoom is be a challenge. Okay, so Marta had a question. Finding the yarn over at the end of the right side rows is creating a very loose edge. I'm a little concerned. So first of all, this piece is going to get blocked. And we'll talk more about blocking at the end. But unless you're a really loose knitter, I probably would go ahead and do the yarn over. Now, keep in mind that the yarn over I've asked you to do has you go in back and then all the way forward again in order to slip the last 2 stitches. So that's an extra big yarn over. What if you did a backwards yarn over? That would give you less of a loop there. So Marta, can you try that? And see if that
Yes,
helps.
yes, I will give that a try.
Yeah,
Thank you. That's a
regulate the edge a little bit, because if you're a super loose knitter, you know, you have to know how to regulate for your
well, I
settings.
just thought when it got bigger, it might stretch out, but right now it just looks so loose that
So
I will try that. Thank you.
This is Margaret again.
Hi.
I found it when you turn around and go the other direction, if you really pull the 3rd stitch tight,
Mhm.
it takes care of that.
Good.
The 2
Another
loops.
really good tip. Thank you.
3rd and 4th stitch, just pull them extra tight.
Wonderful. Okay, so I think it might be time for, oh, first of all, I want Michelle to come on and just, because we sort of cooked up this project together when I was getting ready for the Fiberside chat that took place a couple weeks ago. Was it a couple weeks ago? Was it longer? Time is getting all mixed up in my head these days.
No, I think it really has only been a couple weeks.
Okay, it's crazy.
I know.
Okay, Michelle, I'm gonna find you and spotlight you, and I'd love for you to talk about all the different yarns that you have in the shop and just a little bit of background. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, there you go.
Hi. Boy, suddenly we see ourselves quite large.
I know.
So we have, these are, most of you have probably seen them, but I'll show you. These are the 2 colors that Sylvia used for hers. And they're made by Yarn Less Traveled, or Traveling Yarn, she also goes by. And she dyed several other kits for us as well. This one is Pumpkin Spice and Harlequin Robot. And they are so much fun together. And then we also have,
This one.
yeah, this is a good one. This is Plumpernickel and Grape Soda.
I don't think Sarah is doing this purple justice,
No, it really
but
isn't.
it's really beautiful.
That's actually the one I picked for mine.
Super.
So that's another kit, and we have all of these on our website if you are interested. Now, I know somebody in Canada has been trying to reach us, and I really apologize. We can't send from the website to Canada, so you have to call us and place an order on the phone, because the shipping is a little different when we ship to Canada or out of the country.
If you ever have any issues doing it on our online store, you can always give us a call and do an order over the phone too.
So, Haley's Choice.
Ooh.
Beautiful.
Isn't that
And
pretty?
It's Merlot, which is this darker solid, and Cottonwood Gin.
Look at that.
Ooh, I love that.
This is it wound.
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
I'm excited.
That's so
It's very fall, my favorite season.
Reminds me of caramels.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And the only one we have left after that, we've sold out of, I think 2 of the other kits.
Mhm.
Again, the second time around. So the only one we have left is Garnet and Acid Wash.
Mm.
And those are so pretty together. And I'm actually using the Acid Wash with the Plumpernickel. So this is what I'm using. This is the Acid Wash wound. And I'm using it with the Plumpernickel. But we have other colors, we have other yarns. We just decided to do this because of the yardage partly. The colors are stunning, and this yarn is so nice to work with. I'm really finding it. Didn't you think so, Sylvia?
Yeah, I loved it. I did.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
so
Yeah, very soft, nice texture.
not splitty. It's just really
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, it's
So
very
I'm
enjoyable.
actually using it on another project, and I love it. So that's what we have in terms of kits. And then, of course, you can look on the website and put together your own kits. It's just 2 fingering weight yarns. And we have included beads with all of these. We don't have them right here, so I can't show you. But these are some of the beads. Do you have yours? Are these yours? We have the beads that Sylvia used on hers, the pink.
Hard to see through plastic always, but just
Yeah,
trust it.
Pretty.
Yeah.
The beads are coordinated and pretty, and if you want more contrast, we can do that. But yeah, and we also, we can do a Zoom appointment with you if you want to look at what we have. So that's another option. So
Yeah.
let us.
You guys have such great customer service. Thank you. I'm just going to answer a couple more questions that came through. Tony, my question keeps getting skipped. I'm so sorry about that. My needles aren't exactly the length you specify. Is that important? Probably not. So you can tell that the shawl starts very small at a point, and then it increases on one side. So when it gets to a certain point, you could be uncomfortable, like a 24-inch needle eventually is going to get a little uncomfortable. And there is, in the next clue, you'll see that there's a reason for me to specify 2 different needles, a different reason from what you might think. So just saying, just throwing it out there, not to be mysterious or anything, but it's a mystery knit along and I can't help it. But no, you can start with whatever length you have. And you have just a little start, and then you'll know when it gets big enough, you'll have to change to a different needle, or you could even probably make do with 2 24-inch needles. I think that'd be fine. So I hope that helps, Tony. Also, I've been really active on my Ravelry forum, and I also answer emails. So you can always get me to ask your questions, okay? And then Cheryl asked, she's getting 22 stitches to 3.75 inches. So her finished piece may come out smaller. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'll just say that I'm very small stature too. I'm not quite 5 feet tall. So if it works for me, it'll work for you. And also, I'm really, really excited about the shape and the styling potential of what you're going to be doing. So just saying, there's some surprises coming, but I think you'll be pleased with them. So let's see, any other questions? Okay, oh, you want to show the float pickup again? We're sort of getting to the end of our time. We have about 4 more minutes. So, gee, you know what? Email me privately and we'll figure something out. And then, okay, and then Abby found another slight error. Oh dear. Okay, thank you. I'll be correcting that. Thanks to you. Thank you very much. And then somebody asked, what is a Ravelry forum and how do we find it? Not everybody uses Ravelry, and that's fine too. I've used Ravelry from the very beginning of Ravelry, and I have a forum, a long-standing forum. And you can just go, if you're on Ravelry, just go under groups. There's a groups tab, and just put in my name and you'll find it. So if you're on Ravelry, again, I'm not suggesting that you go there if you have any objection to that. But that's where I am. And someone just asked, is it critical not to twist the first stitch on the wrong side?
Yes. Yes.
It is, yes. So don't twist the stitches on either edge. You want them to just be plain. And it'll seem weird at first because it'll seem like it won't work, but it will. Okay, so we have a giveaway. Is it time for a giveaway? Okay, so I'm going to go pop over to my browser. We have 76 people, and I'm going to not do one for me, and I'm not going to not do one for Michelle. But Michelle, you know, you're always welcome to whatever I have. But so I'm going to go to random number generator and say between 1 and 74, because that's how many of us there are. And I'm going to say roll. And it's number 41. So could someone volunteer? Maybe maybe Michelle or maybe Kaylee could look down the list of participants and see which one is number 41. Is it possible to do? I could try.
Cheryl might know because I don't think they're actually numbered, but Cheryl does this for Fiberside.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know how to find the number, Cheryl?
You know, we actually pulled the number. We'll have the entire list. Sorry, I can't help because we have the entire list on Excel. So when we pull the number, we look at what row somebody was on that list versus what order in.
Okay, well we can't do that, Cheryl, but let's see.
I'll count them.
Okay.
You could throw a dart.
I wouldn't mind volunteering.
Okay. Karen. Karen?
That's me.
Okay, I'm gonna pull you up.
Judy.
Karen, is that you?
That's me.
Okay, so send me a message either by email or do you know how to get hold of me?
I'll be on your chat Saturday afternoon.
Okay, well just why don't you type?
I have your email, Sylvia.
Okay, either you give me your email or you can contact me in any of the ways that I have to be contacted, and we will certainly talk about your prize.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay, I'm going to go back to me. Okay, I think we're out of time. Thank you all so much for coming and for playing along with me in this little project. And I'm just so happy to be together with you all. Thank
Are
you.
we going to have this after every clue, like every Thursday?
Every Wednesday morning.
We'll get a clue.
Mm-hmm.
But are we gonna have the Zoom every Thursday or is
Yes.
this a one time? Okay.
Yes. This is how it's going to go every week.
And the Zoom link will be in the clue.
Yeah. You got it. It isn't so hard.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you all.
Bye. Bye, Margaret.
Bye, everybody. Have a good week.